I sat down. Right beside her, there was a space in between us. Older lady, upper 60s, low 70s. Well,
Terry's age.
older lady. But she dropped her phone before, like as everybody was still boarding, and let out the biggest fart I've ever heard. A little deeper than that. Do you have a deeper one?
Oh, hold on.
What was the name on that?
That one. That's the
That
one.
last one was called Rigid Fart.
Old lady rigid fart.
I got diarrhea.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Drury Outdoors 100% Wild podcast, powered by Deercast. And
First
one. Well,
Oh, look at you.
as you would say in South County, St. Louis, First Farm.
Terry would be like, Papa Top again.
I've just got time for one more round.
He just loves.
Oh,
Now
yeah,
he's
he loves doing that.
drinking when he's doing that.
Oh, yeah. He'll stick his thumb in that old bottle and pop it.
it.
Alan Jackson covered that. I'm trying to think who
I
did
remember
the
Who the original was. Yeah.
God, okay.
So you're Tim Chalsvik.
Oh, yeah, I am.
I'm Matt
You're
Drury.
Matt Drury, the handsome young man sitting between us.
Wade Robinson.
Wade Robinson. Wade.
Who was that?
Wade just introduced himself.
Hey, you know what? You said young man, but he ain't that young anymore. How old are you now?
33.
He's been with us a long time.
Yeah, since I was 19.
Jeez. Can you imagine trying to get a job somewhere else and trying to explain to the HR person what skills you
just like
have
to kill shit.
and experience you have?
I have bow skills.
Nunchuck skills.
Shouldn't be a problem.
Belong to a couple different gangs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a really... We should do that sometime.
Just to see what they think of it.
Yeah, like I'll play HR recruiter and maybe Matt helps straighten out the whole Pan thing.
Yeah. I think I can help with the whole pan situation.
Pan, with two M's.
Did we just become best friends?
Yep. I love that. We'll probably talk about turkey season a little bit this episode.
A little bit. I think we're going to be all over the
bit.
place. Wait, so I love this time of year because we got everybody. We have a lot of people that stop by the studio to shoot their interviews for the TV seasons coming up. So Wade's down in St. Louis today, and he shot all the Boat Madness interviews, and we shot a few other things. We figured, what the hell, let's do a podcast while you're in.
Absolutely, yeah. It started off at about 3 a.m. this morning whenever I had to leave the house. Jumped on a plane, got here. The plane ride was a little different.
Oh, yeah?
I heard you had some turbulence.
That's what the lady next to me thought. Holy, no. So on Southwest, we got to pick our own seats. Well, I now understand why the very first seat in the aisle was open because I don't know if this lady was farting beforehand or what, but she
That's a tactic.
I sat down. Right beside her, there was a space in between us. Older lady, maybe 60s,
40s.
upper 60s, low 70s. Well,
Terry's age.
older lady. But she dropped her phone before, like as everybody was still boarding.
Yeah.
And she dropped her phone and let out the biggest fart I've ever heard. A little deeper than that. Do you have a deeper one?
Oh, hold on.
What was the name on that?
That one. That's the
That
one.
last one was called Rigid Fart.
Old lady rigid fart.
I got diarrhea.
But no.
And you're like, oh, this is going to be a great flight. Can't wait.
Luckily, it must have been just because she dropped her phone, bent over, old lady, loose bowels.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
Yeah.
she farted, and I obviously acted like I didn't hear it. But
The gentleman that you are.
hell, the whole plane heard it. Like it was loud.
That was a good
And
one.
she just was over there putting her lipstick on. And,
Ooh.
Yeah, so I don't
Did you do anything to help deflect the attention so that people knew it wasn't you?
No, I just
I think I'm going to throw up.
I just grabbed my phone.
Okay.
Pretended like I didn't hear
You're a bigger
anything.
man than I am because I would have tried to do
You would've been
something to
Pointed-
assign correct blame.
Yeah. But
That's the worst thing on a flight. I just saw this viral clip the other day. It was like a flight to
On the
Pakistan. Yeah. And so there's probably a lot of people that eat curry and like some foods that make your stomach kind of turn. Well, there's a Pakistani guy. He's like, whoever is farting on the plane, please stop. We can't take it anymore. It's the funniest video. But that is the worst thing. So I was actually, I don't know where I was going. I might have been out to Vegas or a work trip somewhere. And it's just me. And you always think like you never get a pretty girl sit next to you on the plane ever. And so this pretty girl sits down.
maybe they just don't want to sit next to you.
That could be. Well, I had a pretty girl sit down next to me and somebody kept farting on the plane. And I could see her putting her shirt over her nose. So I'm like putting my shirt over my nose.
Whoever's doing this.
It's not me. Like, you know, she gets off the plane and I'm thinking, I'm sorry, that wasn't me. But yeah, so that's the worst though. When you just keep smelling it, you're like, buddy, we're on this together. Like, there's nowhere for it to go. We can't roll the window down.
You know, early on in my bow hunting career, I was so freaked out about scent that I would try not to fart.
So you'd fart in a
tree
bottle.
stand.
Tim would save his farts in a bottle.
Drop the bottle and oh my God, it exploded.
Well, there's a lot of 2-liter bottles hanging around under the stand. You know, on a related note, there are an awful lot of jugs of lemonade at highway exits.
You really, I see what
Why?
you did there.
It's weird.
Why don't you pick one up and try it, Tim?
Lemonade. You like that
highway
scene
lemonade.
off of Dumb and Dumber?
Yeah, just drink it.
Free to go. No, but like I would end up with such upset, grumbly tummy at the end of a 3, 4, 5 hour sit because I held it. Like,
You gotta let it rip, Tim.
Well, I believe me.
I say,
Over the years,
Just ask Scott. I just let her rip.
if you would have known like what you could have made off of those bottles on your OnlyFans page these days, you'd really make a living.
Think of all the fans that you have on your regular social media and the content that you put out and how much they love it. Now think about if you're farting in bottles.
You would sell
and
it
I could
for all kinds
label
of
on
money.
base like canned chicken.
Yeah, like what you ate the night before.
Yeah.
First farm protein bar.
Level 1 protein powder.
There we go.
Actually, but that stuff doesn't give you gas.
Everyone's got their own flavors.
It's the good stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
Well-
I'd say we're pretty good on
We were just talking about how it takes us 45 minutes to pretty much say nothing on these episodes.
Yeah.
So the flight was good.
minus
bringing it back around.
Exactly.
minus that.
Wade just landed the plane for us. Thank you.
Hey, I wanted to give you an update, Tim. We were talking. I said I'd save this for you. So Wade, we had an episode. This is dating back a little bit, but the future governor, who is now the governor, he was the lieutenant governor, Mike Kehoe of Missouri. He came on leading up to wasn't the primaries. What was he? Do you remember?
It was
the primaries. Yeah. Anyway, so he came on the show and we were having a good time. And after he won the election, Terry was texting with him, and he texted Terry and he said, "Tell Matt it was because I was on the podcast." It was a joke because we were joking with him, telling him that everybody that comes on the podcast gets
Kingmakers.
elected.
Yeah.
You know? And so anyways, I wanted to update you that
Whoa.
Terry and I have been invited to a dinner at the governor's mansion
Whoa.
next to you. Yeah. So
Very nice.
Jeez.
yeah, Lottie freaking da.
Huh.
I guess finally that little payola is coming through.
You have you ever done a cotillion dinner or anything? You just gonna go in and redneck it up?
Well, I mean,
There are too many forks here.
I know about the basics of,
Okay.
left and right and how it works. But
I know what I don't know.
I know enough to know to behave in a setting like that. We've had dinner with him plenty of times, but just never at the governor's
Like
mansion.
Arby's and stuff. Never
Yeah,
at a,
exactly.
Yeah.
Nice dinner.
Yeah. So anyways,
That's
thought you
cool.
get a kick out of
That's
that.
Yeah.
Should be pretty fun.
A bigger kick would be, and he asked about Tim.
Oh, no, he never
But,
brings you up in any of our messages.
But Dustin Lynch is probably always asking you about me, and
Oh yeah, I always ask about you. For sure.
I'd sell for that.
Yeah.
I don't think so, Jim.
Anyway, remember when I did that show one time?
I spent a whole week with him in Idaho. He never said a word about you.
Well,
not one time.
He's not going to go overboard with it.
Yeah. He did mention this one day. He was telling a story. We were sitting, around camp there one day, and he was telling the story. And he's like, yeah, man, I got invited on this podcast, and this guy brings out his friggin' guitar and starts singing and playing. And it was the worst thing I've ever heard. Oh. And then I remembered that was actually you.
Oh, man. Did he mention anything about how flat it was?
It just in general, he just kept saying
Not
how
good.
shitty it was. He kept using the word shitty.
I really did not see that coming.
And over again.
Man.
Nah.
I just saw that. I don't believe it, but I just saw that.
It happened. It's for real. No, because if it would have happened, you would have videoed him. You would have said, hold on a second. Let me film this.
Say that.
Good point.
I got to send something to someone. Oh, yeah.
I'm a little slap happy today. I just got back from a 10-day vacation, basically.
Girl.
Started off with a tornado.
Hey, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
As a fellow dad, we're all dads here, 3 dads.
Wade, just congratulations.
Thank you.
Him and Kyle just had their second baby.
Yep.
You're dad times 2.
Just a couple
Dad
months
all
ago.
of
3
us.
months.
Couple months. Yep.
Yeah.
We got 6 kids between
Wade's
us.
thinking, how many months? I won't put you on the spot.
A little more certainty there would be good.
Yeah.
No, but when you take a vacation with kids, it's not a vacation.
Hell no. It was an average of 20 to 25,000 steps every day.
You're like, can I get back to work? Because I'm really tired.
This sums it up. So we start with this isn't going to sum it up. This is going to be a long way of getting around it.
Oh, man.
We start off with a tornado, EF2 tornado, rips through the neighborhood Friday
Alleged.
night. Yeah. Spring break. This is the start of spring break. So my wife, who procrastinates, she's packing in the dark with flashlights. I, as an Eagle
I'm
Scout.
sure a lovely attitude the whole time.
Yeah. I, as an Eagle Scout, totally packed in the basement, flashlights with the kids, candles. We're prepared. She's up in the second floor packing. I'm like,
During a
finally,
tornado.
Jesus, take the wheel.
I yell up there, like, honey, you're going to have to get down here. I think it's a serious one this time. So we're going through that. Leave at 6 a.m. Power's out. And so that's the start of it. Spend a couple days in Orlando, blowing through money like we have it. That's always fun.
Yeah.
We get on a cruise Monday morning. We get to Nassau. So we celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Then the next day is my birthday. We celebrate. We're just having a great
Lots
time.
of beer.
Yeah.
Lots of green beer.
Yeah, having fun. So we get to Nassau, Bahamas, one of the stops. And one of the other families that was on the trip with us, I asked him the next day, I was like, well, because our Nassau day was just it was a lot of walking and nothing. We didn't see anything worth a shit.
Okay.
Miranda was our guide on the trip that day. I'm not saying that's why, but it just happened to be. She was leading the way. We go to we walk our happy asses up this hill, and it's supposed to be to this these steps or stairs that's go somewhere that's supposed to be, I don't know, a tourist spot. It was closed when we got there.
Okay.
You walk all the way up there.
That's right.
Not closed.
So anyways, I asked one of these other dads, he's got kids our age, but he's also got twins that are 3 years old. And I was like, how was your Nassau trip, day? And he's like, he goes, I can't believe I paid, he threw a fake number out there. He's like, I can't believe I paid $10,000 for this vacation. He's like, we walked 30 minutes to go to a beach. So he's got his kids, he's got these twins, him and his wife, and he goes, we got kicked off that beach because it was a private beach. We go to the next beach, we got kicked off that beach, and we got to the next one, and then all the kids started crying and screaming and complaining, and they're getting sunburnt, and he's like, then we had to walk all the way back to the ship. And I was miserable. Like, he just summed up the entire vacation. Basically, that's the entire vacation in a nutshell.
Yeah.
That being said, it was great.
Everything else? We took the kids to a water park in Branson. It was fine. Our kids had earlier spring break than most kids, so it wasn't I don't want to do lines. I don't want to do crowded parking. I don't want any of that stuff. Anyway, we get to the water park, and the kids are having fun playing around in the wave pool, but I'm noticing aquatic life that should not be in there.
Like a brown trout.
It Snickers bar.
That would have been one step worse. This was close. Hair extensions.
Oh.
Tumbleweaves. Mats of
Gross.
filamentous algae.
Hey, Bo, go swim out there and get that.
Well, and there was some like little kid that like, I think maybe he just lives in Branson and his parents drop him off at the water park and he just lives there. Because I was like, hey man, watch out, there's a tumbleweed in the water. He's like, oh, I'll get it. And he's like ripping him out of the water. And I talked to the lifeguard. I was like, hey, there's a lot of hair in the pool. And he just says, yeah, I've been noticing that. I don't know where it's coming from, but I just kind of shrugged it off.
Hey, you ever think about cleaning?
I think they make tools that can skim stuff out of the water.
I've seen it.
Yeah. But well, and then we also did. We went on a razor tour. Engie has a buddy that has a little business where they rent razors. What I didn't know was that, so it's like, it's like a really nice side-by-side kind of thing. The off-road park wasn't open the day that we went down there. So we're just ripping around these gravel back roads of Seymour, Missouri. What I didn't realize was it's Amish country. And so you're kind of getting side-eye from these
dust
people.
out the horses. And
I did like move over and slow down.
How nice of you.
But I'm doing 60 miles an hour on some of these gravel roads and you're driving
rocks
past
all over.
Hezekiah out in the backyard and putting, drying clothes on the clothesline. So
this is a
mixed bag.
Fun fact. We actually have several Amish people that listen to the podcast.
Hey,
I was at a trade show.
Hezekiah.
I had a trade show where I had a family come up to me, and they were kind of just looking at me for a little while, and finally they came up to me. They're like, "We love the soundboard. Love the fart sounds on the soundboard." They loved it.
Well, I think I may have mentioned it on the show that the Indiana show that Alan and I went to a couple years ago. We had a guy with a questionable haircut do the same thing. He hovered around the periphery of the booth, and I'm kind of used to that. People are a little intimidated to come talk to me.
People just stare at you.
Exactly. And he walks up and he just says, "I really like the fart board."
Nice.
And then he just walked off.
Hey,
that's all.
He just had to get it off his chest.
There's a lot of podcasts out there, Wade. Not many where you could get this kind of humor.
I love it.
This kind of brown humor.
It's mostly automated. Yeah. We just continue automating the content in the show.
So, Wade, I hope you enjoyed hearing about our spring breaks.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't do nothing. No, I didn't do nothing for spring break, I guess.
I would kind of think with the because turkey season is such a grind for you that you would maybe try to do something to.
Yeah, but they just had
relax.
a baby. That's probably what changed it.
I almost missed my daughter's birth because I was in Mexico hunting with some buddies. So figured I better stay home for spring break.
Yeah, hey, we meant go on spring break with your family, Wade. Son of a bitch.
You'll get into dad mode eventually.
Yeah,
You'll get there.
How old is Riggs?
He'll be 4.
They're just getting fun
he's
anyways.
3. He's just 3. So they won't remember.
Kyle will.
Yeah. She has a great memory.
There's only so much understanding.
It's like a damn elephant.
Man, years ago.
Steel trap up there.
Years ago, there was some like marriage retreat that my church was hosting down in the Ozarks or something. And I could have swore that Beth said, "It's no big deal if we don't go," because some friends invited me to go fly fishing down in Arkansas that weekend. And so I really thought she said it was fine. I have been reminded of that weekend so many times in the 20-some years that we've been married.
We always hear what we want to hear.
Apparently,
I've heard it's fine a lot, and it's not fine when I get back.
When you say fine, like what exactly are we talking about here?
Yeah,
if you hear it's fine, don't do it.
Don't do it. Yeah,
we got the opposite of the way you're thinking.
A lot of rainbows, though. So that was. Yeah. Hey, I told one of our rack packers I would mention this. Seth Strucker, one of our listeners. He's part of the State Fair Strutters, the National Wild Turkey Federation, over by Sedalia, Missouri. Yeah. They have a heritage banquet coming up on Friday, April 4th. So maybe we'll post this in the rack pack so people can go in and see how.
Awesome.
I don't want to. All they have is a QR code and his telephone number. I don't. I can't.
It
I
might be a
can't
little
just.
Venmo, like if someone scans it, that just sends them money.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, we
A little
can.
scam.
I'm gonna start doing that.
Yeah, just put in my Venmo, Tim.
That's weird. Tim's calf implant fund. What is that all about?
If you're gonna get an implant, might as well go for something a little bigger.
Really?
Well, no,
Matt, how would you know?
I wouldn't.
Somebody peeks while Tim's peeing.
I was in the pool.
That's still one of
I was in the pool.
There was shrinkage. That's still one of my favorite stories when you're up at your place in Ellsbury and the guy, was it Ellsbury?
Ellsbury.
Yeah. The guy was hunting nearby as you're taking a leak.
So this was last fall.
Yeah.
We're chasing, one of the deer we're after, and it was early in the season, but the corn had just gotten taken out of the neighbors.
Yeah.
So my neighbors got a tree stand, literally in a tree that's basically hanging on my side, but it starts on his side, and it's right next to my food plot. Well, I'm peeing in a scrape, and I look up. I'm talking like 10 yards, and the guy's waving at me. I just threw my hands in the air. I'm like, what the hell?
And you'd be like a 3-year-old, like you just drop them all
I
the way to
dropped
the
my
ground,
drawers
right?
right to the ground. Yep. What's wrong with that, Tim?
Well, like a blues game or something that becomes problematic. But
Not
otherwise,
really.
it's cool.
You get a lot of slaps in the ass. A lot of action. But yeah, he waved at me, and I thought, because Ben was up there and Will, because it was at the beginning of the season, so we were kind of still teaching Will kind of the ins and outs of filming, and so I called those guys back
what
over.
you're doing.
I was like, all right, this guy just watched me pee in the scrape. He's hunting where we're hunting, basically.
How do we cover that?
And then I thought, well, we're an hour, away from the office. We came up here. We're running late to begin with. I was like, screw it, let's hunt here. Every deer that walked that way winded the guy and ran. It was the worst night ever, as predicted.
That's horrible.
I had nowhere else to go.
Okay, so I've got a turkey hunting question for Wade as it relates to producing a turkey hunt, because so many of them are so similar. How do you shoot it? What angles do you try to get to try to make it a little different, a little bit more interesting?
Well, the last few years, I don't know if you guys have seen that hunt where I was sitting by those bales and that turkey literally walks feet from me right over the top of the bales. And that was kind of like the first time that I can recall us setting up where we have the cameraman back in a blind, and then we put the hunter outside closer to the decoys to try and get the hunter and the decoys in frame.
That is cool.
So whenever we get that opportunity, we try and get that angle. It's a pretty neat angle for sure.
No joke. That clip came up again for me a couple weeks ago, and I was sitting next to my wife, and she looked over and she watched it. Something about it
she
was
could care less about hunting.
Who's that jackass sitting there? Like, it doesn't matter, but check out what the turkey does.
I mean, that thing's got like over 10 million views, doesn't it? I mean, it's gone like mega viral for us. So
that's kind of like the way we try and put a twist on it, and then also have obviously some cameras out in the decoys to get that action. But
that's what you guys always do the best, I feel like. It's the camera angles out in the decoy or next to the decoy and getting those.
Yeah, you hear those wings like going
Crazy.
past.
Yeah.
It's definitely cool.
Yeah, that's probably the coolest stuff you guys do, I think.
You guys had that on Cameron's kill.
Yeah, Scott was always good about, just like these guys, putting those. Well, at the time, it was the Tacticams. Not many of mine are working anymore. I think battery issues or whatever, because they don't sell that Tacticam like got out of the point of view cameras altogether. They just do, I think, their cell cams and stuff. But anyways, those Tacticam point of view cameras made it easy because you could from remote just turn them on. But they don't, like I said, all the batteries are dead now. That's been a couple years.
Yeah. But
Garmin makes a product, but the remote's not as reliable.
Yeah. And then same with GoPro.
Yeah.
We can't get them to link up. That was what was cool about Tacticam, is like you could chain several together and it was like fail proof.
Yeah.
That's what we love so much about them. But I wish another company would come out and make that same type of setup for sure.
I can't imagine it being a big money maker. It's probably why you don't see a lot of them.
It's such a niche function.
Yeah.
Like it's
I
killer
know
for us.
Browning came out with one, I think. I don't know how well it does, but like I said, Tacticam's quit doing it. I don't think GSM has anything like that.
No.
So
I need something for my skateboarding videos.
your tricks you do.
Tim's always got a big old GoPro on his forehead.
There's always a bunch of 10-year-olds around, and then Tim,
What?
he's pushing them over.
Like the skate park?
Yeah.
throwing sticks out in front of him.
Oh, man.
Why are you so mean?
He's a
thrash
bully on the
hardcore.
playground. Tim big bully.
Skateboarding and basketball are two things I'm terrible at. I don't know. I can't dribble a ball for the life of me.
You only have 2 things? I got 20 things I can say I'm
That's
terrible
true.
at.
It could be worse, I suppose.
We'd be here all damn day. Yeah, basketball and skateboarding are 2 of them.
Oh, mine too. Not good at those things.
Sophie and I were talking a couple nights ago. She's 13 now. And it was just one of those like nice father-daughter talks. And I was like, I know that as you become a teenager, I'm going to seem like the dumbest person in the world to you. But I'm telling you right now that I know stuff and I have some skills that sometimes as kids, you guys just kind of gloss over. Like Bo is trying to learn how to skate right now. And I practically grew up in inline skates and ice hockey skates, playing hockey. And he's telling, no, you don't do it like that. And it's just funny how
Did you hit him?
I shoved him down. Like, all right, you're so good. Now get back up. Skate over to me.
He just kept taking this hockey stick and
Come on.
cross-checking him.
You're in my world now, Grandma. But it's just funny how, like, we're at a certain age where we've done something long enough. We have some expertise at it. But still, your kids think you're the dumbest person in the world. And eventually, someday, they'll come around.
That made me think of a story. So when I was learning how to swim, we would go one time a year. We'd go to the Lake of the Ozarks, the entire family. So Mark and Tracy, and this would have been before Taylor was born. But I'm talking way back when I was, maybe 6, 7, 8, whatever. And so all my cousins, the Lurks and the Braces, all the families, and Mark and Terry would freaking drink all my uncles drink all day long, and they would throw us out in the water. We'd try to, this is learning how to swim.
Yeah.
We'd climb out. They'd throw us back in. Not like as a fun thing. Fun to them.
Yeah.
Not fun to us.
Traumatic to you, but
Yes, I remember it.
effective.
What do they call that? Trial by fire?
Yeah, exactly.
Sink or swim.
It's like we're on the dock and they just keep throwing us into the water. Like, let me out.
That's how I learned how to drive stick shift. My dad just pulled over. He's like, all right, get in. We got to get
That's a
your
little
hands.
different.
You're going to kill everybody.
I still ended up in the water, so.
Did you?
No.
Yeah, I had to learn drive a stick shift on the construction site with a
no pressure.
giant construction vehicle with a trailer.
Kill someone.
Yeah, it's like, all right, I'm 13. It's like, all right, pull the truck over there, and I'm like, it's a stick shift. I'm like, first of all, I don't know how to drive. Second, but I learned, and a clutch on a truck like that back then was a lot different than.
I was over there just grinding
Oh,
gears.
yeah.
You got
Yeah.
a grinder
Figure
to
it
find her,
out.
Matt.
But that's how I figured it out.
Yeah.
There's probably some happy medium between our, like, how we were raised and sink or swim versus now where it's like, okay, honey, let's get you ready here. I'll watch some YouTube videos on it
now
first.
I pay $200 for some swim lessons for my kids or whatever it is. It's like, it's ridiculous. Yeah, it's a much different world. You couldn't get away with the stuff that our parents were doing back then.
Well, it's funny now. I'm old enough that you look back at photos from growing up and you're like, that's a friggin' different world. Like the cars look like they're 100 years old. And I just put a meme out last night.
I saw that.
And like literally when I grew up, all of our dads looked like Hank Williams Jr. Like the beard, the dark glasses, and a trucker hat. And it wasn't worn ironically. Like that was just the style. Probably a cigarette and what was the beer my dad always drank?
Milwaukee's Best?
No,
Stag?
it was Old Style.
Old style.
Old style.
Yeah.
Like for some reason,
That's what he drank.
Old
Yeah,
Style.
they all drink the same. It was Stag, Milwaukee's
Some
Best,
cheap-
or Milwaukee's Best Light, or it wasn't Busch Light.
PBR.
Budweiser. Yeah, PBR. Yeah, it was all the old school stuff. So Wade, you guys last year, we had Perry on a couple weeks ago. You guys had a freaking awesome deer season.
Yeah.
I can't remember, and I've talked to Mark about this too on the podcast. I can't remember a year where any of our teams started off as hot as you guys did up at Mark's. I mean, it was just nonstop once Missouri started and then rolled right into when Iowa started. You guys were killing something every couple of days.
It was a really good season. It seemed like we were catching those cold fronts, and then, there was just such changes. It'd warm up. We'd have a warm fall, but every cool front, it was just death on them.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
but yeah, it was really good. Hell, they had 3 or 4 deer killed before I even got back from New Mexico.
Oh, I know, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Coondog,
they
Mark,
were,
Perry.
Yeah, they all 4 or all 3 had killed, and they were waiting on me to get back so they could hunt again. They don't have no tags.
I guess
and then you guys killed again, right?
Yeah, I killed like 2 days after I got back from my elk trip.
That is kind of the upside to a warm fall, is that movement gets really concentrated into those cool fronts that come through.
Absolutely.
It is, but the problem is, especially like in our world where like it's kind of your business too, they're still hunting every day. Yeah. So it makes still miserable.
Especially, obviously we hunt out of a lot of box blinds, and like they're great in the middle part of season and late season, temperature wise, but early season they are dreadful. But early season you also get low winds, thermals, so many more variables that those deer can smell you. Whereas if you're in those muddy or hawk blinds, you just go undetected. It's pretty incredible. Like, if I'm not mistaken, on my deer, the wind was kind of cutting across the plot, and we opened up and killed him. Like, so we've killed more deer on the wrong wind, hunting out of these box blinds than. I mean, deer you would never even see if you were out of a tree.
We still pay attention to the wind, but I will say in the last couple of years, especially once the hawk blinds came out, those newer hawk blinds, and then these new muddy ones, we don't really pay attention to the wind as much anymore. It's like, it's not ideal. We try not to hunt when it's blowing right across the plot, but
and there's definitely different variables, like low winds, high pressure. You can get by with about anything, but if you get a wind much above 10, 12, 15 mile an hour, you probably don't want to push it.
Yeah. That's a good point.
So like, cause the wind just is able to get through that blind and push it out. But a light wind, high pressure,
100%
murder on them.
How much time do you feel like you have between when you open the window and it's time to go?
15 seconds.
It ain't much. That is the hard part.
Yeah. But
you guys have perfected it too.
Yeah. Like a lot of the time I don't know how many times I've been filming with one hand, have Mark or Perry or Taylor or whoever at full draw, and open the window while they're at full draw and be recording with one hand, have the window in the other hand.
You did it on my hunt up there too.
Yeah, your hunt. So, I mean, because you don't have a lot of time, so you want to maximize being at full draw. All you do is put that pin on them and let her fly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you guys have perfected that, I think, to a science more than just about anybody in our team or our world. That and Forrest and Terry too. I mean, it's just you guys, I guess, are so accustomed to hunting out of them. Mm-hmm. It's not as easy
you
as
have to figure it out, or you're gonna.
Man.
Yeah, you have to figure it out, or you can mess it up in a hurry.
So what was the best hunt last year? Maybe whether you killed or someone else killed, you filmed somebody. What was the funnest thing or the best hunt from
obviously
the fall?
Every year, the catch dream hunt. That's my favorite hunt.
Yeah. Every
single year. Lainey shot an awesome buck, and unfortunately she had passed not too long ago. So prayers go out to her family, but like I said, it was always so touching, that particular hunt, getting to go out there and, see those kids smile and happy and just basically letting cancer or whatever terminally ill or whatever terminal illness they may have, that's nagging at them, that all that just goes out the window. It seems like, it's obviously still hindering them, whether they're, whatever it may be is still there, but you can definitely see an uplift in those kids getting to go out there, see the deer and stuff. And Spencer's always so great with them, and just a really cool, touching hunt.
Yeah.
So definitely every year, that'll be my answer. Like, that catch dream hunt is a special one.
During the rut, do you guys, I know every once in a while you guys get up in the trees and your tree stand hunting. Did you guys do much of that this past year? I know the year before you did a lot of it.
Yeah, I mean, we've got some cool setups down in Texas that we're able to get in some trees, which is a lot of fun. Those deer aren't used to predators coming from above. So
And you're not that high up, right?
No,
Those
not
are
at
pretty
all. Like,
short.
Like 10, 15 feet.
10, no, 50. Yeah, you wouldn't get 15, but I would even say somewhere between 9 and 12 feet.
That's
like
crazy.
It's you're not high off the ground, but high enough to get out of their eyesight.
Sure.
And it works. The weather's nice, so it's enjoyable to sit in a tree stand. But yeah, no, we don't do a whole lot out of the trees, which doesn't bother me. I mean, it's honestly, in my opinion, it's the most effective way to kill whitetails out of a box blind. You take away one of their senses. I mean, multiple, really. I mean, because they can't hear you as good.
No,
you know, they're
they aren't
not going to
seeing
see
you.
you, and they dang sure can't smell you if you
Yeah.
have the windows closed. If
Yeah.
in the certain blinds that hold that scent in, but so you take away all those senses, you got the pretty good upper hand on them. Granted, it's like you said, the windows become an issue. You can't hear them out of it.
Yeah.
You know, there's definitely plenty of blind spots in the blind. So there's pros and cons to it, but I think it's the most effective way to kill a whitetail.
There's no doubt about that. I often wonder though, during the rut specifically, how does your strategy change? Because most of your setups are field edges,
Yeah.
and obviously during the rut you don't see it quite as much in the field edges. It's like in the timber, in the bedding. So
Yeah.
what do you guys do during that
Well,
time of year?
this year we were tagged out by the rut.
That's why you didn't.
Well.
Well, and honestly,
good strategy.
honestly, like everybody looks forward to the rut, and me, I'd rather sit anywhere but a tree stand or blind during that time, because like we're so accustomed to having these deer pattern and knowing where they're going to be, when they're going to be. Whenever the rut comes around, there is no telling where
It's all out the window, yeah.
everything that we hunt off of is gone. So like, you know, you always hear about these people saying, "Oh, I love the rut. I love the rut." Well, like a lot of those people that love the rut so much, like they don't have, you know, they don't want to put in food plots, or they can't put in food plots, or, you know, they're sitting out in a cattle pasture with a tree line, like, whereas our farms are holding the deer, and then they push all, or, you know, our type of farms that has the food and the cover, and, you know, that we built.
You basically have them year round, and then during the rut they tend
They
to leave
leave,
and
yes.
go to these other people's
Exactly.
farms.
Yeah.
So
I'm one of those people that's like, come on, brother, like, let's roll
Yeah.
the dice here. Let's get something
yeah,
going.
because like, you know, like again, like even on our stuff, like we get new bucks cycling through during the rut, but man, they're just so unpredictable. I do not like hunting the rut at all.
It definitely makes it tough, and I always cringe because I always think in the beginning of the season I'm gonna kill something before the rut, and then it turns out I need to hunt the rut, and I hate hunting the rut.
Yeah.
and then it's December.
And then it's gun
it's,
season. No, then it's gun season. It always gun season. I can always equal it back out, which makes me think maybe I'm just a shitty hunter. Maybe
You're a
that's-
gun hunter, Matt.
Yeah, you know what?
Hey,
I am. Thank goodness for Winchester.
level the playing field here a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. Matthews needs to stop sending me bows because that's not. I
You
feel
look
guilty.
cool, though. out there
until
with
they
one.
come up with those exploding arrows, then you'll be back in the game.
Exactly. Yeah, broadheads that explode when they hit.
It does make, like, when you focus on the process and you like to kill deer with a bow, it does make you wonder, like, am I just making this overly difficult? And just
Deer
Grab
are
a
really
gun
smart
here.
this year.
Well, the part of it is that when you then see gun season roll around, and you know a lot of people that don't put in the same time are killing big deer, and it's just like, why the hell do I do this?
I just slapped on a scope on this baby last night and take it out.
Oh yeah,
I know, it's like, you're a better hunter but it's all about your spot.
yeah, oh, absolutely.
It's like-
and like in Missouri, hell, gun season is during the rut, which I do not like. But you know, so then that makes it that much better for those people too.
Yeah. So I'm one of those people though, so I can't complain about it.
Yeah, but like, you know what I mean? Like putting a rifle in someone's hand during the rut. It's a lot of luck. And you know, there's obviously a little skill there too, but like there's a lot of luck going into anything during the rut because they're so unpredictable.
For sure. It makes me want to try to figure out every year. I mean, and this isn't every year, but it feels like the last few years, I've definitely had a tough early season. So it makes me continue to try to like put plans into place on the farms and, okay, what am I missing here? Like what element am I missing? So that makes me not succeed. Thank you. Makes me not succeed in the early season because it's like, I feel like we're doing all the right steps. But the deer, it's just like my farms, I'm just having a hard time actually seeing mature deer
Yeah. Well,
within bow range,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, are you getting pictures of these deers? You're like, because all farms have different dynamics. Like you could have a really good thermal cover late season farm with south faces. What is your farm a good early season farm? Like,
it depends. It depends. So like I've had a lot of movement the last couple of years. Like I've bought a couple, sold a couple, it's like, so I'll have it a year or 2 years or at least I've had a year or 2 years or, so I'm constantly changing farms. So half of it is just trying to refigure out a new
figure
spot.
them out. Yeah.
And by the time I figure it out, sell it or I lose the lease, And so that makes it tough. But
for sure.
Ellsbury, where I've had the lease for a long, long time, it's a great early season on the staging plot, like where I was just telling the story about the guy waving at me. It's great in the early season, and then it's really good in the late season if the farmer lets me buy some food back from him. And that's where Ben killed his nice deer in the late season this year. And while I was in Idaho elk hunting almost every day, daylight on the staging plot, there were shooters, that we were after that we weren't there to hunt. So
got to be there to kill them, Matt.
Exactly. But the Idaho trip was awesome. And
for sure.
You wouldn't pass it up, certainly, if you had the opportunity to go to it. So it's like that happened to me in Kansas one year where I went early season. I thought it's always hot the first week of the Missouri deer season, so I'm going to go to Kansas.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Cold front.
Deer walking around everywhere.
Yeah, it's just that's how it goes. It just seems like, and no matter which strategy I pick, it's the wrong one.
It's whack-a-mole.
Yeah,
100%.
So.
Yeah. My thing is I see some really nice bucks and velvet on the properties that I have access to hunt. But then once they shed the velvet, it's just a crapshoot whether or not they
stay.
They live nearby, but they just kind of like
fringe in.
Yeah, it's like a satellite location.
But you're hunting small parcels, so it's a lot tougher in those instances.
For sure.
Yeah,
when you got a couple acres or 10 acres.
They see Tim swinging up there like a monkey from his saddle,
what is
too.
That thing up there swinging around?
Why is he
eating a banana.
Why does it smell like bananas in there?
Bananas and failure.
And farts. Apparently.
Yeah, I'm letting them rip now. I'm not holding them.
Ooh, potassium.
I'd come home, Beth's like, why are you so gassy? Well, I haven't farted all afternoon, okay? Lay off me. Jeez.
Aye. Well, so what's next? This season, this turkey season, where all are you guys heading to? Because you guys hit it really hard, just like deer season.
We're going to go, we're going to start off in Texas with Wade Montgomery and Casey Jones, just like every year. We always have so much fun down there. The last couple years, it's been really low on birds. I don't know. They just haven't had a great hatch. However, last spring, 2 springs ago, I guess, there had been Jake's last year. There is a ton of longbeards there this year, like back how it used to be 5, 6, 7 years ago, whenever we first started going down there.
That's
so
good.
We're excited to get back after them down there this year. Let's kick it off down there, then we'll just come back up to the Midwest.
So Missouri, Iowa, you guys, then you don't go to Illinois.
No, we'll just hit
Mark
Iowa,
and
Missouri.
Forrest do.
Yeah.
Arterian Forest, sorry.
Yeah, we'll just hit Iowa, Missouri, then we'll head west to Montana and those western states out there.
So you guys have been doing this the last couple of years. When you go out west, how different is that style of turkey hunting compared to what you're doing, here in the Midwest?
To be honest, the Merriams are a good bit easier than the Easterns are. I think a lot of it has to do with the turkeys being so spread out. So if they hear a hen, the country's so vast. So if they hear a hen, hell, they'll come to you from a mile away.
Really?
And they come fast.
Hard.
It's a lot of fun. It's definitely my favorite turkey hunting is out west. And, with the beautiful white tips and the scenery is just like a postcard, and over every hill you go, it's just gorgeous. So, we'll make a run out west and hit a couple different states.
What time of year is that? May?
That's May. Yep. We might try and tag out a little early in Iowa, because last year we went and it seemed we went to about, I think, the 16th, 17th of May. And towards the tail end of our trip out west, they were starting to kind of taper off a little bit. So I think we're going to try and tag out a little earlier in Iowa and hunt that last week of Iowa season.
You
out
guys
west.
Got any good guests coming into camp this year?
Butsky's coming in. That'll be a lot of fun. Terry and Force is coming in to hunt with us.
I didn't know. So that for Missouri, are they
Iowa? I think Terry drew a first season, I believe.
Oh, you're right. He did. Yep. He did.
So those guys, and then obviously Matthew Pate and Austin Pate, they won that Foxhole shootout. Yep. So that's always been fun having those guys in camp. They're great guys. Yep. Obviously Butsky, Coondog.
Coondog's not a guest anymore.
No,
he's a resident.
Doc's gonna come in. Ethan Strunk, he's coming in with us, which is Luke Combs' tour manager.
So you got a few. You guys got a few.
Yep.
You guys, I was curious. You guys roll with 20 gauges now?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like
with the new Winchester TSS, like how you could use a 410 and be fine. Like that ammunition is just like none other.
Yeah. It's cliche. People say game changer all the time, but
a TSS is actually
legit. Yeah.
Now, you guys, does it change your strategy at all? Because it's one of the as far as like distance. I mean, I personally like to see him get into the 30 yards, 20 yards.
Depends on how our day's gone.
I got you. Yeah.
If we get too pissed off at them, they'll eat.
Yeah, because you guys are running Leupold scopes on them. And so your setups, you guys are.
But it's nothing to shoot a turkey with that ammunition at 60 yards. Like, yeah, it's pretty impressive what you can do if you want to. But I agree. Like, I like having them in tight, like we were talking earlier. Yeah, having them right there with 10, 15 yards right in your lap.
So you guys, you'll take the strategy. I know we've talked to Mark about it a lot of times where if you had the luxury of if a farm was kind of killed out the year before, not killed out, but you killed several off of a farm the year before, you let it lay kind of dormant. Oh
God. Yeah. Like we manage our turkeys probably more so than we manage our deer.
Yeah.
We'll figure out, how many jakes are on camera, how many longbeards are on camera or sightings. We have a whole log of what we see on each farm and try and calculate how many jakes are coming in to replace what gobblers we may shoot. And we'll have a limit, even though there may be 5 or 6 gobblers on this farm, we'll probably only take one or two.
Yeah.
And, let that, and we take these same practices out west. Like we'll just let gobblers go if we feel like there's not many, because like I said earlier, the terrain is so vast. So, one gobbler may be servicing several areas of hens. So
what do you mean?
Tim, the birds and the bees.
Servicing. What are you talking about? Insects now? I'm even more confused.
Yeah, that's right. So you guys also do a ton of predator control. You do tons of habitat improvement, burns, and TSI. The TSI side of things, I know it's primarily for the deer, for the deer hunting, but does that help on the...
Yeah, absolutely. For like the nesting and stuff, it, that gives those poults that cover from above so that the hawks and stuff can't get it. I actually got a video from a neighbor up in New York that I gave it to Kyle. It'll be posted on social media here sometime soon. But a hawk comes out of a tree and this hen fights the hawk off, saving her poults. Yeah, it's pretty cool video. Like because those hawks are rough on them.
I've never really thought about that as much as like coons and nest predators, but
another predator.
Once they get born, then they still got the coyotes and
everything else.
A black snake, like a big black snake would take a poult.
Really?
No problem. Yeah. They even eat eggs.
Just whole?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll swallow. In fact, my friend used to raise chickens, and she would
Tim
put
has a lot of info on black snakes.
And uses for golf balls.
Wait. Uses for golf balls. I don't want to glance over that. Jesus, Tim.
Where are we going here?
A little dish of golf balls outside of the chicken coop.
Oh, okay, sure.
So that when a black snake came by, they'll sometimes grab one of those and it kills them.
That could be pricey with today's price of golf balls.
But you don't say that.
It's true. I'm sure they weren't Titleists, but...
Well, they might be, Tim. Don't be a ball hogs.
We're going to find out. We're going to get to the bottom of this golf ball branding issue.
Well, Tim, you have to leave in 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to sit here quietly so we can shut the thing down.
So we better get to the rest of the show.
Oh, wait, there's more?
There has to be.
Dang.
Sportsman Channel is your home for Winchester and Drury's natural born.
Join the cast on some of the most hard-hitting action on outdoor TV. See the full schedule at thesportsmanchannel.com.
We do have a new Rack Pack member,
One.
Timmy Turner.
Hey, that's like a fairly odd
Take
parents.
Timmy Turner.
Double T.
Is that the name in the Tim McGraw song? Don't Take the Girl. Isn't it Timmy Turner? Or is it
There's no
Timmy
name.
Thompson.
Tammy.
Little Johnny.
Yeah, but think about it. He goes through a litany of names that all
Oh,
rhyme.
take Tommy Thompson.
Tommy Thompson. Timmy Turner.
Which every
Tommy
time I
Thompson.
hear that, I'm like, whoever wrote the song is like, Tommy Thompson. That's like a comic book name. Come up with something more believable. I don't think that song's going anywhere.
I actually hate that song.
I do too.
Do you for real?
Yeah.
I hate that song.
It's a little too
Don't take the
schmaltzy.
girl. Come on.
Yeah.
Tim.
Cletus T. Judd did a parody version of that. And it was,
Who was he taking?
please take the girl.
Please.
He's like, here, ever. She ain't bad when she get a couple scoops of that cold cream on her face.
I've not heard that one.
Cletus
Tim.
T. Judd, an artist in his own right, like the Weird Al Yankovic of the country world.
Is he? Mm-hmm. I'm not familiar with his work.
Well,
Either.
Weird Al, big fan.
yes.
The kids, we listen to a lot of Weird Al.
Yeah, he's kind of avant-garde for a
great.
kid.
In fact, my
Fat.
kids, once they heard Bad for Michael Jackson, they're like, hey, this guy ripped off Weird Al.
Yeah, my
Yankovic.
kids did the exact same
listen.
thing. Like, that's right. Michael Jackson, the biggest
Rip-off artist and pedophile, allegedly.
allegedly.
Didn't mean to soil his name, Rip.
Rest in peace. I was waiting for it. You can say anything about any dead person as long as you say rip.
Rip.
Fair enough.
It's like saying, don't take this personally. And then you just let
offend
the
shit
person
out of
have
them.
it.
Yeah.
You're kind of a terrible person.
I'm just saying.
yes.
There's all kinds of them, Tim.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Yeah. Timmy Turner, welcome to the Rack Pack.
We got a shout out?
We do have a shout out. Drop Time Creations, which is probably not their real name, on YouTube says, I love how down to earth this podcast is.
We aim to please. We're people.
People pleasers.
People.
Dunder Mifflin. People. I don't know what that is.
We need new subscribers. So if you're still watching, please subscribe, like, share,
All the
Yep.
things.
all the things. Wade's in the Rack Pack. He's been a long time Rack Pack member.
Yep.
He's not as active as Perry is unless somebody's making fun of Perry or Tim.
You know, we talk about how hurt people,
Yeah.
and Perry likes to hurt people.
Oh, yes, he does.
Yeah.
He's kind of a dick.
Whoa! Shots fired.
Got it.
Dang.
Perry's going to want to come on next episode. All right. Here we go.
Perry's gonna drive back down again the next episode.
He is fun to poke the bear, Pear Bear. We poke him. Yep, get him going.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
Every time he's on the podcast and he sees an opening to reference a saddle, you can see like
Spinning.
the wheels in his mind starting to
I'm
turn.
sure you saw it, but I'm gonna remind you just in case on that last episode where Perry was on, Tim pulled out a tandem saddle.
Then he started, Perry like tried to tie him up with
He
it.
threw it on the floor.
Did he?
Yeah,
Classic.
he was pissed. But then afterwards, he kept asking for my personal telephone number,
It's kind of
which
weird.
is weird.
Listen, we got one more thing we gotta get to. It's a take it or leave it segment, Tim.
I think you know where I land on this one.
Yeah. Oh, I think I know where Wade lands on this one. This segment of 100% Wild is brought to you by Tracker Off-Road. On the trail, on the job, and on the hunt. Tracker Off-Road has you covered. All right, take it or leave it. A shirt without sleeves. Take it or leave it.
Otherwise known as a sleeveless shirt.
All right, so, but here's the thing. Is it made that way or did you take the sleeves off the shirt?
I don't know if it's possible
both.
to buy one like
Yeah,
that.
well,
You can fix a shirt up.
okay, here's my take on it.
Nope.
I will take it if it's a shirt that came without
The
sleeves.
way God made it.
I will not take it if you took a shirt and you ripped the sleeves off so far down that you can see ribs and nipples. Unless it's a girl. I've seen both you guys wearing these types of shirts and I don't appreciate it.
You can just hear Miranda go, "You're looking at her ribs, aren't you?" I'm a rib guy myself. But what can I say? Forget everything else. It's on a woman.
Starts with the ribs.
I like
you can see the ribs. She's skinny.
Very.
I like them
Hear those
malnourished.
bones clank.
We can't air this episode.
I like them like I like my xylophones.
How? How's that?
I don't know, like lateral ribs. Yes. Yeah. Like a Halloween skeleton. A shirt without sleeves. Yeah, under the right circumstances.
Every circumstance for you is the right circumstance. Then I have seen you in cut off shirts.
Why do I feel like Matt's targeting us?
Both you guys, actually, that's a good point.
You jackasses with your big arms, well-defined triceps, great personalities.
Well,
I'm sick of it,
You took
Matt.
it too far there, Tim.
I'm sick of it.
Look, I just
Can't help it.
think they make shirts like that. You don't have to ruin every shirt you got to make it look like that.
Ruined?
I don't have one shirt where I've cut the sleeves off of.
Next episode, we'll craft one for you.
Yeah,
right.
we can get him one.
Yeah, that could be this one.
Hey,
It could be anyone.
The trick
go get
is,
there,
that's the
scissors.
point. You fold it in half so it's symmetrical, and then you just make your cut like that.
Yep.
How do you do it, Wade? You just rip them off, don't you?
No, I cut him.
You cut them?
Surgically.
I'd like to know how you get the rib part in.
Just
how
cut
you
down further.
Just keep cutting. Just
But
go.
you don't just cut the
sleeve off.
sleeve hole.
It's like
Why-
it's silly. You could buy one like that.
Are you guys
These
go,
are custom.
do you guys all go all Hulk Hogan on it and just ripping the sides?
No, because they get all like flimsy. Like you want
Fluttery.
Yeah, like
You want some
crinkly.
integrity to it.
There's a rhyme and a reason. Got it. Okay, so you guys are take it. I'm leave it.
Okay. Unless
Just
it's
like
on
this podcast.
Unless it's on a ribby female.
Then
I'll
I take
definitely take it.
Show me them ribs.
I really didn't mean for it to be a female that had ribs. I'm just
So
saying.
Matt's got a weird fetish, a rib fetish.
No. All right, it's time for the stand.
I want to see ligaments.
Oh, you're not a ligament guy?
All right. Well, Wade, have a great turkey season.
Appreciate it.
Kill a couple for me.
I'll try.
Wade's still got like 5 hours to sit here. His flight doesn't leave till 9.
Dang.
Hopefully, I don't have a lady sitting next to me who's farty.
Yeah, it can only get better.
Yeah, we can.
And when your day starts like that, it can only go up from there.
Yeah, we can make it.
Elder farts.
Yeah, we'll make it. It'll be good.
All right.
All right,
Here's
on that
hoping.
note, peace out.
Adios.
Deercast is completely updated and better than ever. Prep, predict, and pursue your target buck with our detailed maps, weather, and 14-day movement predictor.
We're adding new videos every week, so make sure to click that subscribe button and check out all of our amazing content. This episode of DoD TV is brought to you by Deercast Maps, waypoints, weather, virtual rain gauges, and more. Every tool you need to get ahead of your game.